we are on.
Thank you for having me, Flavia. We are the largest parcel distribution company in Europe. We are present in 47 countries worldwide, and this year we will be delivering 1.5 billion parcels across the world with more than 10 billion euros of revenue. We are part of the French Post, and we represent about a third of the revenue of the La Poste group. So I think that's what described us best. I think what drives us is a sense of responsibility that has clearly grown during this pandemic crisis. 30% of the emissions in urban areas comes from the distribution of goods. So we are part of the problem. We need to realize that, and we need to take the lead in solving that problem. So we started in 2012 by compensation. We embarked on a bold compensation program so that the CO2 footprint of every parcel we would deliver would be compensated. But clearly compensation is not good enough. It's just, removing the problem from one end to the next. We need to really reduce the CO2 emissions. And we've started last year in 5 cities to implement green delivery. Green delivery is, of course, it's electric vehicles, it's cargo bikes, but it's also implementing new micro depots, so small depots in urban areas, which bring us closer to the final customer so that we have less transportation to do, less kilometers so our transportation footprint really becomes lower. Now that we've tested this in 5 cities, we feel comfortable that we know how to make it work also with the whole electrical loading infrastructure. And we are now investing 200 million so that in the 225 largest cities in Europe, we will be able to deliver in green mode in the next 5 years. We will also monitor the air quality. All of our vehicles and these micro depots will be equipped with air quality monitoring devices. So we can help the municipalities to understand where the pollution levels are the highest and where they need to act. We can also feed it back to the consumers, to the e-commerce consumers, and tell them what the carbon reduction has been through using our services. And then there's a thing that we are testing in Lisbon. It's called the City Tree. And it's developed by a startup from Berlin, Green City Solutions. It's a device which has about 9 square meters of size. It's composed of mosses, and it really has the capability of filtering the air like a small forest of about 100 trees. So it's something that we believe can also make a contribution, and we'll see whether we can deploy that in other cities as well.
How did the confinement impact the DPD group business and service?
It's been a tremendous boost. It's been an acceleration of 3 to 4 years of what we were expecting in the plans before the pandemic started. So our volumes have, as of Easter, beginning of April, the volumes have really skyrocketed. June was a kind of peak where we had a 30% growth in all of our network. But when you look into these 30%, the B2B business was 0, -4, and the B2C was plus 100%. And it has reduced a little bit during the summertime, but it's coming up again now. We see that with the Prime Days and now with the Cyber Week coming up, and then the peak period, it's going to be just an incredible peak period, which is already usually a time where we have much more volume than usual. But now with this base load, and this is here to stay, this is here to stay. And we see that there are some product categories which have completely exploded. Food delivery, the volumes were multiplied by 3 during the lockdown period, and it stayed at a very high level. Pharmaceutical products, so these categories have really just gone through the roof, and they're here to stay because we see that many new e-commerce customers have come online, and those that were already shopping online are buying more categories of products, right? So the level of e-commerce and the penetration of e-commerce is clearly increasing and staying at that level.
I wanted to understand how DPD Group is really adapting their operations to this new normality.
yes, it's here to stay because of the way the consumers are now adopting e-commerce, but it's also here to stay because we see that the large retail companies are closing down stores and are investing massive amounts of money in online. So it's not going to be physical dying and disappearing and online being there. It's going to be physical and digital merging. There'll be more omni-channel, there'll be more omni-commerce, and we have started to adapt to that, and we will accelerate adapting to that because we need more solutions for delivery. Today, the main delivery service is still to the home, to the doorstep, but we start to see that people also need to have out-of-home solution. So we have deployed in Europe and in Portugal the largest parcel shop network. We have 640 parcel shops in Portugal. We have almost 50,000 across all of Europe, and we are now also starting to develop lockers. And I'm very pleased that we are announcing today that we will implement 40 new lockers in Portugal. So they will be installed in train station, metro stations in Lisbon. They will be installed at the locations of our partners like Fnac and Leroy Merlin. And so we believe that this will provide more convenient options for the consumers, but also for the online retailers to provide to their customers more choice and more convenience.
What are the next challenges for DPD Group?
Well, our next challenge is really to be able to cope with this volume growth. So we need to invest more to have more sorting capacity. When we're saying that everything accelerated by 3 to 4 years, also our capacity utilization of our network has increased for 3 or 4 years. So our network is full. So we will invest next year close to $500 million across all of our 47 countries to have new hubs, to have more depots, to have more sorting capacity. The millions we will invest in becoming greener and to making sure that we have a more sustainable delivery. And then it's also accelerating the deployment of, the verticals. I mentioned the food and the pharma. And there's one thing that we are convinced of, which will increase a lot. It's the instant urban delivery requirement. We see that many customers really, when they order, they want the things more and more immediately. And certainly big groups like Amazon and Alibaba are also kind of pushing that service level up. The other retailers need to follow, and we need to be the ones helping them to find the solutions to make that happen. So we'll probably need more micro logistics closer to the final consumer, and then the ability to have delivery within an hour, 2 hours, maybe 30 minutes, depending on the need and the category of products. And we want to be the partner for all of our customers to help them to make that happen and to be competitive in front of big competition and an increasing customer expectation. If I look at what's happening in Asia, I think that the online shopping through social platforms will increase dramatically. We see that the purchasing through platforms like Instagram is actually outgrowing what's happening on the marketplaces. So we think that there's a lot of small, even private businesses that will emerge. And we need to accompany that. And they will not necessarily want to go onto the big platforms. They will want people like us and maybe other solution providers to help them do the appropriate logistics and delivery. I think the other thing that we're seeing, and that comes back to the whole environmental issue, is we see the young generation being very conscious about their consumption. And we see that circular economy and circular e-economy is going to be a huge topic. There is one startup called Vinted that you and your community will know, which has been completely exploding in the last years, which is based on the circular economy of lifestyle products, and you can clearly tell that the success of a company like Vinted is based on the expectation of a young generation that wants to act more responsibly, and that requires delivery solutions as well, using the out-of-home network that we have, where these young e-shoppers can drop off their parcel at a parcel shop or a locker, and the one that purchased it can pick it up in a locker. So that's a very efficient and economical solution to accompany these developments.